and welcome everyone to Immigration Talk Show. I'm your host Sam and you're watching Daily Immigration Dose. We come live at 4 p.m. EST from Monday to Friday. And before moving ahead, let me read out this very important disclaimer. By watching our videos, you understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not professional advice. Use at your own risk. Our intention is never to offend, it's just a casual exchange of ideas. All right, friends, once again, welcome back everyone to Immigration Talk Show. You're watching Daily Immigration Dose. And I'm really happy to say that today I have joined by my co-host Rajni Bharara. So hi Rajni and thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited towards the session.
Thank you so much, Sam. It's always a pleasure, being here and discussing different topics, especially on DIN. DID, Daily Immigration Dose. So yes, glad to be back.
I'm sure our audiences are really looking forward to this session. And friends, the great thing is you can also dial this number and you can join us like 425-4366335 with the access code 988888. So join this session and you can also be a part of this amazing session, share your perception, share your point of views, and we'll be really happy to take all that. And if we talk about the discussion that we are going to have in today's session, then it's very important, and that's about what leads to deportation, key causes, and implications. Because I think, Rajni, most of the people are so much understanding that deportations are happening. India, Mexico, Colombia. I think every country is really fearing about this term deportation, but most of them are not very much aware about like what can be the causes, what can it lead to, and what are the actual reasons behind deporting. Right. So I think it's going to be very informative for our audiences. What do you say about it?
Absolutely. It's going to be an informative and an insightful episode. I'm sure we are going to dive deep into each and every aspect of what leads to deportation, and also the implications of deportation. So, we definitely are going to have a good and informative discussion. And, guys, like Sam said, you guys can also join us on this very session and share what do you think about the deportation happening all over the world. I mean, the deportees are the immigrants are sent back to India, and then Colombia has they denied taking their citizens back, and then Mexico. A lot of things are happening. So you can also join us on this session. You can also share what you think about it, and more by giving us a call on the number 425-436-6335. I would like to repeat it: 425-436-6335, and don't forget to put the access code, which is 988888. Now, before we move ahead with today's discussion, I would like to say, Sam, would you like to go ahead and inform or maybe tell our viewers the news highlights for today?
Absolutely. I was waiting for that only. Okay, so friends, before diving into this session, I would like to address some very important news updates. That is, H1B cap registration for fiscal year 2026 is going to start from March 7 and is going to end on March 24th. So the USCIS has announced that the registration window for the fiscal year 2026 H1B cap is going to open on March 7 at 10:30 p.m. IST and going to close on March 24, 2025. So this year, USCIS will continue with a beneficiary-centric selection process. That means registrations will be selected by unique beneficiaries. And employers must use a USCIS online account to register beneficiaries. And they also have to submit a $215 registration fee. Moving ahead with my next news, that's about Trump may end extension of H1B L1 visa auto renewal. So, the extension of automatic work visa renewals, which was implemented under the Biden administration, may soon be reversed. And Republican senators, also like John Kennedy and Rick Scott, introduced a resolution to end the rule that allow automatic extensions of the H1B and L1 visas for up to 540 days. Critics are arguing, saying that the rule undermines immigration enforcement. And on the other hand, supporters are saying that they believe that it's going to be helpful as it reduces delays and ensures businesses have the workforce they need. And if the rule is reversed, many visa holders, including the H1B workers, can face delays in their work authorization renewals. So this year, we can see it will be a lot of challenging towards the visa approval for, especially for the L1 and for the H1B visa applicants. Moving ahead is the next news that's about relief for H1Bs and L1s. Trump citizenship order blocked indefinitely. In a significant legal development, a federal judge in Maryland has blocked President Donald Trump's executive order on restricting automatic birthright citizenship. So, as birthright citizenship has been a very hot topic and a very controversial as well, and now we got the ultimate decision that it is not going to be implemented anymore because judges thought it's unconstitutional and it's definitely not going to be favoring the immigrants. So, the judge ruled that the order violates the US Constitution and will remain blocked while the case proceeds. This ruling brings relief to H1B, L1, and other temporary visa holders who were concerned mostly about their children who were born in US would not receive the citizenship. The decision also prevents potential complications for families facing long green card backlogs, and this legal victory is a crucial step in ensuring that US immigration law can continue to respect the rights of immigrants and their families. So there are some relief, also there are some challenges, and there's a lot going on in the world of immigration. There are further news updates also. So Rachni, please go ahead and share some more insights about our viewers.
Thank you so much, Sam. Guys, outrage over shackled deportees. Indian lawmakers protest US deportation methods. A recent US deportation flight sent 104 Indian nationals back to India, with many shown in chains and handcuffs. This harsh treatment has shocked people across India and raised serious concerns about deportations are handled. In the Indian Parliament, lawmakers protested after seeing these images. Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jayashankar explained that while handcuffs are meant for safety, many feel that such treatment is too severe. Since 2009, more than 15,000 Indians have been deported from the US, deepening the anger. This approach is also affecting immigrants in a big way. Many immigrants now feel scared and unsafe, worrying that they might be treated the same if they ever face deportation. Families are feeling more anxious and are less willing to come forward for help. The harsh methods make immigrants worry about their future, cause stress for those trying to build a better life in a new country. As Prime Minister Narendra Modi prepares to visit President Trump, the Indian government has promised to talk with US officials to ensure that deported individuals are treated with respect and care. Moving on, a US embassy in Dhaka launches new system for visa services on 8th of February. The US Embassy in Dhaka is set to launch a new system for US visa applications on February 8th, 2025. As part of this transition, the current website www.ustraveldocs.com will be offline from February 5th to February 7th. Applicants with scheduled appointments during this period should attend their appointments as planned. Starting February 4th, non-immigrant visa appointment slots will be released every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. The new system aims to streamline the visa application process and improve user experience for applicants. That's it from my side, guys, on the news updates. Now let's move ahead with our today's discussion. Today we are here to discuss on what leads to deportation, key causes and implications. So, Sam, I have too many things to talk about this on to talk on this matter, so much of information to actually share with our viewers, but I would like to start with you. What do you have to say? I mean, according to you and as per the research that you have done, what would you like to tell our viewers? What actually leads to deportation?
I think deportation is a very important term, and most of the people are really, I would say, they have misconception regarding the deportation because they think that it's only about the criminal activities that they do in the U.S. And if they are doing something like criminal activities, or if they're abusing someone, or if they are harming someone physically, then only they are going to be deported. But that's not true because there are different laws, different regulation regarding the immigrants especially, and that's how those rules and regulations have been made. And that's why most of the people are facing this deportation issues because of their status, also because of their visa status. They are staying for a longer period of time, or maybe they are involved in some illegal activities unknowingly, also if they're working in different profession, what visa, for example, if they have been into tourist visa but they are working in somewhere else, then also they can get deported. So, there are different reasons and there are different causes that most of the people are not aware of. They think only doing the criminal activities they are going to be deported. But no, that's not true. There are so many things. Even if you are overstaying, even if you are just working on a different profession, or even a student, the F1 student, if they are not going to extend their visa for that particular time period, then also they can be deported. And I think it's very high time, because most of the people should know and should be informed about each and every reasons, each and every causes, and also the implications, what they can go through. And
Right.
so these are the things, that people are mostly I mean, they have this misconception about. So
Right.
yeah, I think this can be the gist of today's webinar.
Absolutely. I was actually about to say that too much of information to take under a few seconds. So maybe let's go into that one by one. Let's tell our viewers one by one what actually, the reasons which actually leads to deportation. So guys, before we talk about, I mean, Sam already have given you the gist of what leads to deportation, but before we get into each and every aspect of it in detail, I would like to tell you that what deportation actually is. So deportation, it's a word that sends chills down and down the spine of any immigrant. Whenever any immigrant hears this word deportation, it's very frightening, very chilling, and nobody wants to hear this word, if especially if you're living in another country, legally or illegally, right? But whenever you hear this word, it's always frightening, whether you have those papers or not. So whether you are on a work visa, student visa, or even a green card holder, the thought of being forced to pack up and leave is has always been daunting. But what actually leads to deportation, like Sam said, it's just isn't about breaking a law. Or do you think there are other hidden traps? Which, I mean, if you think that, you can join us on this call by on this session by giving us a call on the number 425-436-6335. If you think that, you know deportation can only if you think that deportation can only lead to if you're breaking the law, or if you think that there are other hidden aspects too, which leads to deportation. So you can share your views with us by calling us on this number 425-436-6335, and don't forget to put the access code 988888, and you can share your views with us. We will anyways be sharing, but you also make sure to join us on the call. And also, guys, don't forget to like this video, share this video with anyone who might think that this video is informative to them or will help them in any way. And also, don't forget to subscribe to Immigration Talk Show. And now, Sam, let's move ahead. Let's go ahead and talk about the very first reason. I think the very first reason would be overstaying your visa, right? I mean, even if a guest comes at your
Mhm.
house and says, they stay there for some time, but then after some time, if they say, "Oh, I forgot to leave," I mean, you wouldn't like it, right? And especially if you're in another country and you're overstaying your visa, uh, that will have implications, that will have some consequences, right? So,
Absolutely.
guys, I would like to tell you that one of the very biggest reason people face deportation is simply by staying beyond their visa expiration date. So, you can think of it, like I said, a guest is there who comes to your house and who you're present with, but then they overstay, which you of course will not like, right? So it's the scenario is something like that. So I would like to also give you an example of a tourist, let's suppose from any country, if they are on a B2 visa, who decides to stay beyond their visa limit, which is 6 months. So, and they might think that, okay, I can overstay, the visa might have given us the time for 6 months, but then how about if we extend it with for 10 more days or maybe 15 more days? Who would notice, right? But then you never know, months later, when applying for a work visa or when applying for another visa, you can be flagged and you can be issued a deportation letter or a deportation order rather. So overstaying a visa is one of the major reasons which can lead to deportation. or which can lead to your visa being flagged. Sam,
Absolutely.
do you have
Yeah, I think
anything on this that you would like to share with our audiences, or would you like to move ahead with the second reason?
no, I think I should also like to highlight some points over this topic because already you explained what overstaying visa means and what people mostly do. But Rajni, I think we have been seeing that most of the immigrants, they have been taking this term very lightly, overstaying visa. They don't take
Mhm.
it very seriously. They think that that's okay if we are going to stay 15 to 20 days. That's not going to be a very big problem.
You're
But
right.
I think earlier during Biden's administration, these were the problems that were okay. I mean, obviously, according to law, it was wrong. But during Biden's administration, these things were not taken as serious as in 2025. So that's why, the immigrants became so lenient and they also tried to be that careless that that's okay. They are not committing any crime. They're just overstaying the visa. So
Mhm.
automatically, because the repercussions weren't that strict during Biden's administration, so that's
Right.
how they procrastinated those, I would say, laws, and
Mhm.
that's how they faced. I mean, they are facing those situations right now. So
Right.
yeah, I think that's what happened, and maybe that can also be the reason that why immigrants became so lenient about overstaying visa. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's the thing.
No, absolutely, Sam. And I would say, you said that in Biden's administration, people were really taking these things lightly, but then comes 2025, and things have become more serious than ever. I think rather than 2025, I would say after Trump has been back, so things
Yeah,
have become more serious than ever. In his first term, also, he was very strict with the laws and with everything, especially regarding immigration and its policies and reforms. He has been, and his administration has been very, very strict, right? And how a government should actually be, and especially if the country is being built by immigrants, which is, of course, a very good thing. And I think the administration also respects it, the country also respects it. And though sometimes the media tries to portray that, all they care about is the American people or American needs or the American businesses. But I don't think that's how it is, because mostly everybody knows and knows it for a fact that America is a country which is built by immigrants and everybody respects it, right? But then if you're trying to take advantage of that, you know, then of course the government and the people will have to do something about it. You can't think that just because they are being respectful and they are being lenient and welcoming towards you, you can take advantage of that. And I think lately, when the previous administration was there and was lenient towards the immigrants, that's when they decided to take advantage of it. And that's
that's
when all this mess happened of
mhm.
too many immigrants coming through donkey route or illegal ways, choosing illegal pathways to enter the US, going under frauds or going under scams, and then choosing an illegal pathway to enter the country, right? They thought that the implications would be nothing because the government is too lenient and too welcoming of immigrants. But then they saw what happened last year, right? And then elections happened and Trump administration came back. And Trump administration, since the beginning of their campaign, they promised that the first thing that they are going to do is deport illegal immigrants in millions, right?
Yeah,
So this was actually bound to happen, and nobody said that if Trump comes back, it's going to be easy and all hunky dory, right? It is actually going. People are saying, is it fair or is it unfair? But you knew, right, that this was coming, and he had prepared everybody for it. So I think this is what I would like to say on this. And now I think we can move ahead to the second topic, not the second topic, but the second aspect of what leads to deportation. So Sam, would you like to share?
sure. I think next I would like to pick up working without permission because this is again a very, I would say, ignorable topic because most of the people think that they are working beyond their working hours. They are working what the profession that has not been allotted to them, and they keep these things very in a very I would say careless way, in a very lenient way. They don't pay much attention towards these, and they think that if they are going to break these small rules, then they are not going to be deported. But no, it's again a very major one because you are actually working without permission, and in
Right.
US this is completely not at all tolerable. So
Mm-hmm.
certain visas don't allow you to work, and if you got caught, then working without the right visa or work permit, it could really lead to a massive, I would say, deportation. You know, for example, if someone is on tourist visa and tries to pick up a part-time job so that they can make extra cash,
Right.
maybe like working as a driver, waiter, or as a gas station master, or maybe somewhere, you know, those small works, so that they can just earn a few amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really, I would say, illegal and is not according to the law. And
Mm-hmm.
this has been taken very seriously in the US in terms of immigration rules and regulations. So yeah, this can also be deported. I mean, this
Yeah,
can lead to deportation. Mhm.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, under the table jobs can definitely lead to deportation. You might think that because you're just trying to make the ends meet and you just want to have good meals, and maybe sometimes what you feel is, you are inside the country as a tourist and you don't have proper work authorization, and then you decide to take the under the table jobs, and you think that maybe you will not get caught, or this might not
Mhm.
nobody would notice it, right? So you might think it in this way, but then, guys, it's very important for you to understand that many immigrants who work off the books, it leads to removal proceedings. So you will have to be very, very careful about this fact. And especially, I would also like to mention here the F1 students, because the students who are there on F1 visa, they are only allowed to work 20 hours a week, and that too on campus, right? And what they do is, just because the cost of living is high in US, they try to take jobs which are off campus, outside campus, right? So what they do is, they, without any proper work authorization, they take those jobs just so they can earn few bucks, and they can make some money. But then, guys, if you are trying to do that, I mean, you will have to have proper work authorization. You will have to apply for proper work permits, and you always remember that your cousin's friend or your uncle's friends, or your uncle's job is not worth taking the risk. You always will have to be very, very careful, especially if you are in another country, where your every step is, you know, is under the radar. You will have to be very, very careful, because firstly, you're not in your home country, you're in another country, and there you are, whether you are legally, or, I mean, of course, illegally anyways is incorrect, it's completely wrong. But even if you're there legally, you have the right papers and you have chosen the right path. But then, by taking these small steps, which can lead to illegal pathway, is not worth it. So you will have to be very, very careful about your each and every step that you take.
That's right. That's absolutely correct. And I think, meanwhile, Rajni, we should also greet our viewers, those who have joined us. So thank you so much, Rob. I can see Priya, I can see, and Arjun also. So thank you so much, friends, for being here. You can also, instead of commenting, you can also join us by call by dialing this number 425 with the access code 988888. So please join us on call and have a great discussion regarding whatsoever you have in your mind, whether it's Trump administration, whether it's Indian deportation, or whether it's anything about immigration. Then please go ahead and dial this number. We'll definitely wait for you. And I think, Rajni, we already talked two of the major reasons, like what can lead to deportation.
Right.
I would also like to highlight some other very important point, and that's about the committing crime. You know,
Mm.
as most of the, I would say, a very easy way that people can get deported. And it's a very simple thing to understand that if anyone is committing crime, if anyone is assaulting or, you know, doing anything like theft, fraud, or assault, then they are definitely going to be not only deported, but they can put behind the bars. So this is something that can lead to a major implication because other reasons can lead to deportation, but committing a crime can lead to deportation plus can also make you behind the bars. So this
Hmm.
is something very serious, and this is something also very, I would say, important, that people usually take it, and when they come up with these things, they
Right.
have to suffer a lot, not only in terms of paying fines, but they also have to spend a lot of years in that, I would say, in the jail.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
that's really
Guys,
devastating.
absolutely, Sam. Fudging details on visa applications, using fake documents, or sometimes even marrying a green card app. I mean, marrying someone just for green cards. I mean, you must have seen that. It must seem very fascinating in Hollywood rom-coms, but it isn't as fascinating or as nice as it looks in Hollywood rom-coms in real life. So you have to be very, very serious about these things. All this can lead to deportation, and you always have to remember that the immigration system now especially has gotten pretty good with spotting fraud. So if you are caught, your game is over. So you very seriously will have to take care of each and everything. If you are, like Sam said, if you're involved in any kind of theft, or if you're involved in domestic violence or assault, or have committed any kind of crime, or even joined with any kind of you know organizations which are not the right kind of organizations, or which have the interest of going against America. So you have to be very careful about these things. This can actually lead to deportation. So you have to be careful about staying out of trouble. And if you find yourself facing charges, you should get an experienced attorney as soon as possible, so that that attorney can help you with these kind of problems. But like Sam said, criminal convictions are one of the major reasons why people get deported from the US. And I think this is what the right now the administration is also targeting, Sam. What they
Yeah.
are trying to do is they are firstly, more than anybody else, I think what they are trying to who they are trying to target are these criminals who have done some kind of crimes. And of course they have to be illegal. But even after, I mean, even if you are not illegal, and you have committed any kind of crime, any kind of major crime that is against the interest of America, they are going against them, and they are trying to
Hmm.
find more about these kind of immigrants. And if they are found guilty, then the first thing that the government is doing is deporting them.
Absolutely. Because earlier, what used to happen, people used to check the criminals and then the illegal ones. But
Right.
now, in this term, we have been seeing that it's only illegal and the legal ones. Illegal ones are also considering as the criminal people, right?
Mhm.
So there's no differentiation between the illegal and the criminals. They have combined these two terms together. And
Mhm.
those whoever are illegal, they are criminals in terms of Trump's administration. So I think there's no chance to, I would say, stay safe for the illegal ones because they have to be deported. And that's how, we have been seeing that 104 Indian illegal immigrants have been deported few days back only to Amritsar.
Right.
So that's how the situations are also happening. And it's a very tough time for the illegal ones, especially.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, Sam. And so, guys, you will have to be really careful with each and everything. So, make sure that you keep a track of your visa, your documents, and basically everything. And if you have anything that would lead to deportation, I think right away you should get in touch with an experienced attorney who can help you with your case. Now, I think moving ahead, the third or maybe fourth, not third but fourth reason of deportation could be public charge issues, living off government's dime. So using certain public benefits, of course, can make an immigrant ineligible to stay in the US permanently. While, I mean, emergency medical aid is fine, long-term dependency on public assistance can raise red flags. So guys, even if if a person has green card and is a green card applicant and then is applying for multiple government benefits including housing assistance and food stamps without meeting the eligibility criteria, USCIS considers them a public charge and affecting their case. So you will have to understand which benefits are okay to use and which could put your immigration status in jeopardy. So you will have to be very, very careful about this fact also, because sometimes you try to take the leverage of certain things. You think that you are in another country, so you can do this, you can take the advantage of this, or maybe if while you are there, the government, if the government is offering certain things, you can also apply for that and you can also use that. But until and unless you are a proper citizen of that country, you are not eligible for all those things. So until and unless you are the citizen of that nation, you are not applicable or you are not allowed to use those things. And if you are found taking the advantage of these things, and if you're found taking the leverage of these things, the government um, can deport you, as simple as that. So you will have to be very, very careful about that thing. I mean, having said that, I would also like to tell you that emergency medical aid is fine. You can take use of that, you can take help of that, but apart from that, other things you will have to be very careful about. Sometimes, because we tend to ignore and we are also not very much aware about whether certain things we can use or not. So you will have to keep yourself up aware about all these things. If you are in
Mhm.
another country, be aware, stay updated with all the necessary things that you need to be updated about. And you can't be saying, when you are caught, you can't give an explanation or you can't give a reason saying, I did not know or I was not aware about this. If you're in another country, you will have to be aware about each and everything, um, especially what the country stands for and what the country's laws are. So if they're kind enough to let you enter their country, you will have to be, I think, aware enough to know what laws they have. So be very sure about all these things and only then go ahead and take benefits of these things. Would you like to add something to it, Sam?
I think you have already explained everything in a very detailed manner, and I hope our audiences are getting to know about the importance of these very, I would say, ignorable points, because most of the time, even we usually don't pay this much attention, about the, because if somebody falls sick or if somebody is actually in a situation where they have to use those, I would say, the perks, then they also sometimes ignore those things. They also don't go with those documents, and that's really difficult. But it's always advised that please go ahead, and if you're not sure, then contact attorney or take help from someone who is actually expert in these immigration laws, because they are really going to guide you. And somehow by mistake only, these mistakes can lead to a very big problems, and if you fall into these traps, then it's really hard to come out from it. So make sure that to take each and every step very carefully, very, I would say, nicely, so that you don't fall into any other trap, and that can lead to your US dream. I mean, you're going to lose that, your dream. So that's a very hard time for everyone. But if you will stay vigilant, if you'll be careful, then you will definitely be safe and you will definitely protect your status. So that's how I think why we are here and why we are having these sessions, so that we can make you understand about each and every very finest details about the immigration process, and also what are the laws, what are the rules, how you have to follow it, and how you can be more careful with it. So, yeah, I think with that, let's move ahead, Rajni, and we should look upon the next reason that could lead to deportation. And I think it's about illegal entry. So, absolutely, it's very understandable and it's very obvious that if someone is entering the US, without the proper visa or permission, that considered as illegal. And if they got caught, then they have to be deported. And if someone is crossing the border without going through a very, I would say, in a very good way, in a very systematic way, or an official checkpoint, then they get arrested later and they are likely to be deported for entering illegally. So these are the things, we have been seeing in US Mexico border also, then US Canada border also, why people are crossing the borders and they have been entering US illegally. And I think that's why Trump has, put up this executive order of U.S. sudden emergency. That's
Mhm.
why he put up that, and he is very much aware that how people are crossing the borders, and it's quite easier, for the illegal immigrants to cross the border rather than overstaying or rather than doing something. So I think that's why he put up that emergency thing on the US southern border.
Mhm.
And this is a very common thing that most of the people know. And I hope that after this very big scenario that what's happening under Trump's administration, most of the people are very anxious and they are really afraid, like what if they get caught, or what if they have to get into deportation situation, and what's going to happen with them.
Mhm.
So I would think that as Trump is taking steps, as Trump is being so strict about these deportation cases, about these illegal entries, nobody will dare, from the next time to enter US illegally, because they are really frightened and they are so, I would say, stressed about how the Trump is taking actions on this. What do you say, Rajni?
No, absolutely, Sam. And I think the topic itself, illegal pathways, it itself says that the pathway was not legal. And the government, the Trump is taking strict actions against people who are choosing the wrong pathways to enter the US, and as he should, and as his administration should. There is no if and buts about whether those people should be punished or not punished, or whether those people should be pardoned. I don't think so there is any question on that. We can think about maybe other things. We can think about we can still have a conversation or a debate on whether the students who are working outside the campus, should they be deported or not. Because if you are, Sam, I would also like to mention here that, let's suppose if a person is committing crime, is committing a murder, is involved in drug cases, right? And is involved in domestic violence. That person, what the person gets is, that person gets deported from the country, right? This is what the administration, this is what the government decides, that the person will be deported directly from the country. And at the same time, if there is a student who has all the right kind of papers and who's there on a visa legally, and but the only mistake that the student has made is working outside campus, is not working on campus. Because on a student visa you're only allowed to work on campus and 20 hours a week, right? And you're working outside your campus. And also, then also, if you are being deported, your punishment is being deported from the country. That is still a part of discussion, that is still a part of debate, whether that is right or wrong, right? We can have different viewpoints on this, because if both of them are getting the same result and are getting the same punishment, then what is the difference? I mean, you commit a big crime and you make a small mistake, and if both are leading to the same result, that can still be talked about. But if you're entering the country itself illegally, I mean, I don't think so we should have a debate or a discussion on it. Because if you have chosen the wrong path, you will be thrown out of the country, right? So this is what I think on this matter.
Absolutely. I think that's very well put up. And I think let's have a quick discussion also on like about the F1 visa students. And it's quite unfair for them also because they have been not allowed, to work out for the campus. And the same result have been given them also. They also can be deported. And on the other hand, if someone is entering to the US illegally, then they also have the same result. So it's
Right.
really hard, and it's really, I would say, I don't
I
know
think
whether it's
something that the government should also think upon, right? That the people, I mean, the administration, the officials should have a discussion on. I mean, there must be, of course, there can be certain punishments that you can give. You see, if because some honestly, Sam, some people think that this law or this rule is outdated, and people should change this rule because the cost of living, everybody knows, in the US is high, right? So to
yeah.
make their ends meet, those students, they want to earn some extra bucks so that they can have like a good meal in a day, rather than surviving months and months on just noodles, right? So they
Yeah.
try to go out and they try to find these odd jobs. It's not like they're taking American jobs. They're trying to find these odd jobs, and they're trying to do whatever in their capacity to earn those few extra bucks. And if the government gets to know about it, they directly get deported. So some of the people, it's a very debatable topic. Some people think that this law is outdated and we should change this law, but then I would say, whatever that you think or I think, life is not fair, right? Some people would say life is unfair. Some people would say life is fair, but life is how it is, right? It's
Yes.
not what you think or what I think. It's what those people in power thinks, right? So if they decide to change the law, I mean, the law can be changed, but until they decide to change it, people will have to follow the law. And if you're not following the law, you are against the law. And if you're against the law, the you know
Mhm.
things will also apply to you. So I'm sure, it's, again, I would say it's a very debatable topic, and we can have a long and we can have long and long conversation and long debates on this, saying whether this is right or wrong. But of course, you can give punishments to these students, but directly deporting them from the country is a little too harsh, because if a criminal, a hardcore criminal who's committing big crimes, and who's involved in terrorist activities, that person is also getting the same punishment, and the student is also getting the same punishment.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem fair and it doesn't seem very right. So this is what I think.
I think that's truly a very, I would say, great point that you made up. And I'm sure most of our viewers are also worried about it because they're students too, and it's not fair for them also to be deported
Hmm.
just to that they have been working as a waiter, restaurant. So it's a very normal thing that obviously they will work. They will have to, have those financial conditions well, and also they don't want to be dependent on their parents because it's a very different, the Indian rupees and the US dollars. There's a lot
Right.
of difference over there, and it's really hard for them to manage there, especially financially.
Hmm.
So they are not
No,
snatching away one's job. They are not harming anyone. They are just trying to build up their, pocket friendly. They're just
Mhm.
trying to pay rents. They are just trying to, have a better food, and that too with their not. They are not going to be luxurious. They are not going to have a very luxurious life. They're just going to be have those survival money.
Mhm.
So it's just that, and obviously, I don't think that even punishment should be there. It should be just that they can be given some time, maybe 6 months or 1 year, that they can be working till this time and not more than that. But having a
They can
single.
be given a warning. I mean, instead of immediate punishment or instead of direct deportation, they can be given a warning that if you are again found out doing the same thing, then it can lead to something major, right? So they can be given a warning so that they are aware that if that they should not go that path, and or maybe they can be given a temporary restriction route rather than outright deportation.
Yeah.
So temporary restrictions will, I think, that will also do. And they will, because at the end of the day they are students, right? So they will know that they have to find better pathways to, maybe if they want to stay in the country, and they have to follow the law. If the country is asking, if the laws are asking, is asking them to not work outside the campus, then they will have to follow that. So maybe some warnings or some temporary restrictions will can be helpful for them. But then again, Sam, we can say whatever, but it all depends on the country and its laws, and we have to respect it.
That's right. And that's how it is actually happening now. We can see that if nobody's following the immigration laws, then what problems they are facing right now. So
Hmm.
it's better to follow all the laws and all the rules that has been implemented by U.S. immigration, perspective, so that you can at least have your visa status in your hand. And meanwhile, also Rajni, let's take the comments from our viewers. I would like to take Priya's comment. And Priya is saying that deportation refers to the process of removing a non citizen from the US due to violation of immigration law. Absolutely. I think she has explained the meaning of deportation. And the US ICE agency oversees the deportation process, which can occur for several reasons like violation of visa status, criminal activity, or posing a threat to public safety. Absolutely. That's what we have been discussing right now. And in terms of ICE, also, ICE is mainly responsible to pick up those immigrants who are illegal or who have been involved in the criminal activity or posing any threat to public safety or maybe violating the visa status. And that's what they do, and that's what their job is. So people have to be aware from ICE and they have to be very cautious about it
Actually,
because,
Sam,
right?
Priya's comment also reminds me of another reason. If people are failing to maintain their legal status, that is also something that can lead to deportation. Because what happens
Yeah.
is some students, if they drop out of school, or maybe some H-1B workers, or workers who are working in the country but have not switched employers, right? If they have H-1B visa and they have left their job, I mean, they lost their jobs and have not switched their employers, and even have forgotten to update their addresses with USCIS, right? So then also these people can also be in trouble. So you will also always have to maintain immigration status. If you're out of status, you might have lost a job, and you must be thinking that it's only been 1 or 2 days. Who would know? How would they come to know? But then if you have not found a new employer until then, or if you have forgotten to update the address with USCIS, and if if any student have dropped out of school and is not on their visa status, that can also lead to deportation. So make sure that you are always on status and stay informed about your visa conditions. And if something changes, maybe like losing a job, dropping out of school, take action immediately. Instead of waiting for the trouble to find you, you better find a solution. You better find an experienced attorney who can help you with your cases. So this is something very important, and this is one of the major reasons why why immigrants get deported. So this is also something that you will have to be very, very careful about. Always be on status. Never be out of status with your visa. Please
I
go
think
ahead.
this mostly happens with the H-1B visa applicants, right? Because most of
Even
the
with the
time,
students too, yeah. I mean, even with the students too, because sometimes they drop out of school, and because they are student, they think that what possibly can happen. And there are so many immigrants, and there are so many students in the country. How would the people, how would the officials get to know? But if you're in the country, they know each and everything about you. That's why they have allowed you. So yeah.
that's right, that's right. And I think let's move ahead with the next comment. Also, Priya says that deportation from the US have been a point of tension for many years, with non citizens who violate immigration laws or overstay their visa facing the possibility of removal. Absolutely. So I think we already discussed this point, and there's no need to discuss this further. Let's take up Arjun's comment. So, hi Arjun, and thank you so much for being here. And you're saying that typically, when immigrants are detained for violating US immigration laws, they are taken to detention center. They may be held until their case is reviewed in court, and determines a judge determines whether they are eligible to remain in the US or if they should be deported. I think, yeah, that's how the process works, and that's how the judge decides. And I think thank you so much, Arjun, for letting us know about it. And this is also very important. And we were about to come to this topic as well. So, yeah, I think firstly, when they get caught, any illegal immigrant, they have to be sent to the detention center where they can be checked, where they can, where the judges and the officials can go back to their background and have a check on their status, like what they have been doing and what are the things that they did and also ever. And after that, there's a case reviewed in the court, and then judges decide whether that person has to be allowed to stay in the US or should be deported. So, that again, a very important, I would say, a thing that's really important to understand for our viewers. And yeah, I think this is also a case that, most of the Indian applicants we have seen over here, and they have been facing this issue. So, yeah, I think this is one of the process that what Arjun is talking here about.
Right,
And
absolutely.
mhm. As Arjun said, that in some cases, removal occurs without a court hearing, okay, particularly when immigrants arrive without proper documentation or violate other entry requirements. Because there is nothing, I mean, like, why the officials are going to waste their time if the immigrant is not having any document? That completely understandable that yes, he is illegal and he doesn't have any document or is violating the requirements. So that's like a close ending case, right? And there's nothing more to discuss on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the situation goes, and that's how the most of the time that people are facing these problems. And I think not being aware, Rajni, I think is one of the major cause. Why people are facing and leading to deportation problems. I mean, what do you think? What people do, or what is the biggest mistake that they do?
I think absolutely, Sam. Not being aware is one of the biggest reasons, because sometimes they get caught. And recently we saw one of I think that one of a TikToker who was detained on the border of the US. I think if I remember correctly, what he said was he was driving and he did not know that he has crossed the border, and his GPS, he was tracking the GPS, but then his GPS got off and he was not aware that he has crossed the border, and that's when the officials, they caught him. So not being aware is one of the major reasons. And sometimes you must have always heard from your parents also, Sam, that your parents must have also said have always must have always said that always have good friends, keep good company, have good people in your company, have good type of friends. Your parents and your teachers must have also told you. And we think that even if our friend is whatever our friend does, we should always support our friend. And whether if he or she goes the wrong path, we should still support them, because that's what a friend do. A friend is needed, a friend indeed. These things also happens in life. But then in this case, especially if you are in the US, you will always have to always also think about this. You will also always have to be careful about your circle and also your friends too, guys. Your friends, because they matter. And if you haven't committed a crime, and but you are associated with individuals who are involved in certain types of things, criminal activities, or maybe you have donated to a charity, maybe which later is linked to terrorist activities or terrorist organization. These things can also lead to deportation. You might not know that these things are happening behind your back, and your friend or your the people who are involved in certain things and criminal activities. But if you are associated with them, you know things might turn out bad for you too. Your visa status can also be at risk if you are associated with certain kind of people. So you will always have to be aware about your surroundings also. We have always heard that a person is known by the company he keeps. So you might not think in this way, but then you will always have to be aware, especially if you're living outside, and especially if you're living in the US. You will always have to be aware about the kind of people that you are associated with, or the kind of people that are in your circle. If, God forbid, you know eh, the government or the officials get to know that you are connected with anyone who is involved in any kind of illegal activity or criminal activity, you and your visa will also be at risk. So make sure that you are always, always, always aware. So this is what I have to say, Sam.
Yeah, and I think ICE raids. Yeah, I think if we take about ICE raids also, then they were also picking up, not only the illegal ones, but they were also picking up the legal ones, and they were asking the very first question that, do you know anyone or do you have any contact with the illegal immigrants? So that's also, how they are finding out the illegal immigrants by not only going to, I mean, check
Right.
the illegal documents, but also asking questions from the legal ones, also asking questions from the employers, that the employee that you have hired, is that a legal one or is that a fake one? So there's a lot of thing, how the immigration system is working right now and is taking actions. It's linked to everyone. It's not only to the illegal ones, but also connecting to the legal ones as well. So that's all. I think we have
So
already
guys,
covered.
when we were kids, our parents and our teachers have always asked us, if your friend is going to die, are you also going to die? So we might not die, but being friend to that kind of person can lead to our death too. So you have to be very careful about, you know, um, in choosing your friends too. So be very careful. I think that's it for today, guys. It was a great discussion as usual with you, Sam, and we discussed great reasons and I think very important reason and very significant reasons what can lead to deportation. So I think and I hope that this all this information and all that what we said in today's episode was helpful to you guys also to our viewers. So if it did help you in some way, make sure that you like this video, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to Immigration Talk Show. And also, guys, what do you think about this matter? What do you think about deportation, and what do you think leads to deportation? Please let us know in the comment section. And whatever that is that the Trump administration is doing, do you think it is the right thing to do for immigrants, or do you think that they can be more polite and they can be more, I would say,
Cooperative.
tender, yes, towards people. So, what do you think? I mean, what do you have to say on this matter? Please let us know in the comments below. And yes, we'll be coming really soon with. Okay, I think we got another comment from MD who says, "Hi, do you answer legal immigration questions?" So, MD, I would like to tell you that we do answer legal immigration question, but not in on this show. We have a lot of webinars that we do with immigration attorneys and experts on our channel. So you make sure that you're subscribed to our channel and you're always tuned in with Immigration Talk Show. And yes, and if you have any question, you can still share your question, put your question in the comments below. We'll try to get an answer from one of our experts or immigration attorneys. We'll try to help you with an answer, but you can also join our other webinars which we host with immigration attorneys, so those can really be helpful to you. But for now, I think that's it from my and Sam's side, and we'll see you again very, very soon. But until we meet again, I think I would say happy weekend and take care of yourself and keep yourself updated on each and every immigration matter. What do you have to say, Sam?
I think for sure we really have concluded this session and made our viewers understand what could lead to deportation, how they can also save themselves, and we also shared the advice that what you can do to protect yourself, your status. So, friends, go ahead and dial this number and ask from each one of us who are living next to you, like how can you save yourself, how can you protect yourself, so that you can have more and more information, not only through internet but also by talking and by being more vocal about it. So join our sessions as well, as we really come across with the immigration attorney and we have a great session. We come across with different topics regarding immigration. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. It was really great having you all. Thank you so much, Rajni, also for sharing this very insightful discussion. I mean, having this very insightful discussion. And to all our viewers, thank you so much, everyone. Meanwhile, I'm Sam and Rajni is signing off for now. So goodbye, everyone, and take care and happy weekend.